Hello and good morning, boys and girls. Today is day 2 of week 2, and I am reading Mr. Burke is Berserk. Okay, so this is a My Weird School series book. It is one of my favorite. And yesterday I read chapters 1 and 2. So if you are seeing this video for the first time, and if you're seeing this book for the first time, then you need to go back to yesterday's video, Monday, so you can listen to chapters 1 and 2, because today we're doing chapters 3 and 4. All right, let's begin. So, chapter 3, the T word. The rest of us walked to class with our teacher, Mr. Granite, who is from another planet. After we put our backpacks into our cubbies and pledged the allegiance, it was time for math. But you'll never believe who poked his head into the door that moment. Nobody! Poking your head into a door would hurt, but you'll never believe who poked his head into the doorway. It was Mr. Klutz. To what do we owe the pleasure of your company? Asked Mr. Granite. That's grown-up talk for what are you doing here? Remember when I went to principal camp last year? He said. Well, I have to go again. I just wanted to say goodbye. Well, bye, we all said. Principal camp sounds cool. I'll bet the principals sit around a campfire and they toast marshmallows. Maybe I'll be a principal when I grow up so I can go to camp and eat toasted marshmallows. Marshmallows. I like marshmallows. After Mr. Klutz left, Mr. Granite went to the front of the room. It's time for math, he said. Turn to page 23 in your... But he didn't get to finish his sentence because at that moment, an announcement came over the loudspeaker. All classes, please report to the all-purpose room immediately. Not again, moaned Mr. Granite. Yay, no math, I yelled. We had to walk 1,100,000 miles to the all-purpose room, and along the way, we saw our art teacher, Miss Hannah, and our music teacher, Mr. Loring. They were each pulling a rolling suitcase. Why did you bring suitcases to school? Ryan asked them. We take them with us wherever we go, said Miss Hannah, because you never know when you're going to get fired. We like to be ready, added Mr. Loring. Miss Hannah and Mr. Loring are weird. In the all-purpose room, our class got to sit in the front row. But I had to sit next to annoying Andrea. Ugh, disgusting. I made sure not to let my elbow touch her elbow on the armrest so I wouldn't catch her girl germs. The vice principal, Mrs. Jaffe, she was on the stage. She held up her hand and she made a peace sign, which means, peace, which means, shut up. I'll be in charge while Mr. Klutz is gone, she told us. But we have a special guest who would like to speak with us today. How about a big round of applause for Mayor Hubble? Woo! We all clapped our hands in circles. Mayor Hubble came down the aisle with 2 Secret Service agents that were behind him. He was smiling and passing out buttons and said, re-elect Mayor Hubble, and shaking hands with everyone. It would be cool to be the mayor. He's like the king of the town. My friend Billy, who lives around the corner, told me that Mayor Hubble, he has a limo and a big throne. And a city hall. Guys carry the mayor around in a chair and girls in bikinis feed him grapes. Mayor Hubble climbed up on the stage. I have bad news, he announced. The town is broke. The government has cut off all our money, but we still have to balance our budget. I didn't know what he was talking about. Does this mean you're going to raise taxes? Asked Miss Jaffe. Taxes? Mayor Hubble suddenly groaned, grabbed his chest, and dropped to his knees. It looked like he was gonna die. One of his Secret Service agents, they rushed over to help the mayor, and then the other one, they leaned over to talk to Mrs. Jaffe. Never say the T word in front of the mayor, he told her. Mayor Hubble leaned into the microphone. I will not raise taxes, he shouted. I'm going to lower taxes. If we don't get enough money, asked Mrs. Jaffe, shouldn't you raise, the T word? Read my lips, Mayor Hubble shouted after her. No new taxes. Why do we need to read your lips? I asked. You're talking. That's just an expression, Arlo, Andrea told me, rolling her eyes. I don't understand, said Miss Jaffe. How can we get the money to balance the budget if you don't raise the T word? What's the T word? Yeah, taxes. I have an idea, said Mrs. Rupee, our media specialist. We could have a car wash. We could raise the money, balance the budget, and have fun all at the same time. Yeah, everybody shouted excitedly. No, said Mayor Hubble. How about a bake sale? Asked Mrs. Laney, our speech teacher. People love to buy cookies and cakes. No, said Mayor Hubble. A raffle? Suggested our reading specialist, Mr. Mackey. No, said Mayor Hubble. Well, why not just close the school? I suggested. That would save money. Then we could stay home and play video games all day. All the kids cheered. Woo, what a genius idea. No, said Mayor Hubble. There's only one way to balance the budget, and I can tell you with just 3 letters. Chapter 4. 3 little letters. 3 little letters. The 3 little letters were C-U-T. Cut. Cuts? Mayor Hubble shouted into the microphone. We need to cut the amount of money we spend so we can balance the budget. Just saying the word cut seemed to make Mayor Hubble's eyes light up with excitement. He had a crazy look on his face, the kind of look that evil geniuses in the movies have when they explain how they're going to take over the world. The first things we're going to cut, Mayor Hubble told us, are the art and music programs. So long, said Miss Hannah, taking her rolling suitcase. I'm out of here. Right behind you, said Mr. Loring. But we love art and music, shouted all the kids. You kids are here to learn, said the mayor, not to sit around drawing pictures and singing silly songs. That's just a big waste of money. Everybody looked really sad when Mrs. Hannah and Mr. Loring walked out of the all-purpose room. The next things we need to cut are school supplies, said Mayor Hubble. So from now on, we're going to stop buying glue sticks, rulers, erasers, tape, and markers. And you can only have 1 pencil per classroom. 1 pencil per classroom? How do you do that? That's off the wall, yelled Miss Small. Oh, stop whining, said Mayor Hubble. This will improve everyone's schoolwork. If the students only have 1 pencil, they'll make fewer mistakes. Well, what about crayons? Asked Miss Holly, our Spanish teacher. No more crayons, said Mayor Hubble. You can melt down candles and make them into crayons. That will save us a lot of money. That's loopy, said Mrs. Rupee. The mayor pulled a piece of paper out of his pocket to remind him of the other things that he was going to cut. Starting today, he announced, I'm turning off the water fountains in the hallways. Do you know what the biggest waste of water in the world is? Water fountains. The water just shoots right out of them. That's bizarre, said Miss Lazar, our custodian. Oh, give me a break, Mayor Hubble said. It's not like people need water to live or anything. And I know you kids just go to the water fountain when you don't want to sit in class. You're not fooling anybody. Well, he was right about that. That's Daffy, yelled Mrs. Jaffe. From now on, the mayor continued, there will be no more toilet paper in the bathrooms. That stuff costs way too much money. You're getting rid of toilet paper? What? Shouted Alexia. What are we supposed to use? Post-it notes, said the mayor. That's loony, yelled Mrs. Cooney, the school nurse. And disgusting. Post-it notes? I'm picturing post-it notes? No. From now on, the teachers will have their pay cut in half, the mayor continued. Your teachers, you make too much money. Teachers get paid. That was a new one for me. I thought they just came to school every day because they had no place to go. But we hardly make any money as it is, yelled Miss Yonkers, our computer teacher. What do you teach? Mayor Hubble asked Mrs. Yonkers. Well, I'm the computer teacher. Well, you're fired, said Mayor Hubble. I'm replacing you with a computer. A computer should be able to teach a computer class much better than a human being anyway. And computers, they don't whine and they don't complain like people do. He's off his rocker, yelled Mr. Docker, our science teacher. You crybaby teachers should be thanking me that you all have jobs right now, said the mayor. Oh, I want the coffee machine and the hot tub removed from the teacher's lounge. We don't have a hot tub in the teacher's lounge, said Mrs. Jaffe. You don't? Said the mayor. Then put a hot tub in the teacher's lounge and then take it out. We have no money to spend on silly things like hot tubs for teachers. He's loco, said Miss Coco, the gifted and talented teacher. Mayor Hubble was getting more and more excited as he talked about all the cuts he was going to make. After we get rid of the hot tub in the teacher's lounge, he said, get rid of all the tables and chairs and then sell them on eBay. Do you expect the teachers to sit on the floor? Asked Mr. Granite. Yes, said Mayor Hubble. It will be like a picnic every day. You like picnics, don't you? Who doesn't like a picnic? He's gone mad, said Mr. Brad, the school counselor. Come to think of it, said the mayor, why do you teachers need a lounge anyway? You don't have time for lounging around in hot tubs and having picnics. This is a school, not some beach resort. But we don't have a hot tub, yelled Miss Laney, our speech teacher. Well, not anymore, said the mayor. Not after I get rid of the one that we're putting in. All these cuts will help us balance our budget. And when the voters see how much money I saved, they'll vote to re-elect me in November. Are you going to take a pay cut too? Asked Mrs. Jaffe. Don't be silly, said Mayor Hubble. I'm giving myself a raise for coming up with these great ideas to save money. That makes no sense, said Officer Spence, our security guard. We need pencils and glue sticks and water fountains and toilet paper. We need tables and chairs. We need all those things that you're going to cut. Yeah, shouted all the teachers. If Mr. Klutz was here, he would never allow any of this, said Mr. Granite. That's right, shouted the teachers. Well, Mr. Klutz isn't here, is he? Asked Mayor Hubble. He's at principal camp. Everybody was really mad, and you'll never believe who poked his head into the door at that moment. Nobody, because poking your head into doors is dumb. And I thought we went over that in the last chapter, didn't we? But you'll never believe who poked his head into the doorway. It was Mr. Burke, the groundskeeper. Ah, mowed the lawn, said Mr. Burke. Ah, trimmed the bushes. Ah, been busier than a one-armed man hanging wallpaper. And I plumb tucked out. What do you want me to do next? Next? Asked Mayor Hubble. The next thing you can do is go home. There's no money in the budget for a groundskeeper anymore. So you're fired. Have a nice day. I think that was the moment when Mr. Burke went berserk. The end. So tomorrow, boys and girls, we will begin with chapter 5. We will do chapter 5 and chapter 6. And that is our ending for today's Daily Read Out Loud. I hope you enjoyed today's chapters 3 and 4. I will see you tomorrow for chapters 5 and 6. I hope you guys have an awesome day.